You got the pony mob and the gorillas in the mist. Sony try to play me in the city called Atlanta. Give me some elbow room. Give me some elbow room. So I can boom shakalaka boom. Microsoft with the 12 games that you ponies will never play. I don't even care this. I'm taking care of this. GameStop environmental terrorists.
Right now with PS5's UI and how the console normally.
And it's crazy, man, that Sony decided to shut the service down for one day just so they can push more full screen advertisements to you. Hey, special shout out to Mystic over here, actually playing games unlike the rest of the PlayStation fanboy community, man. But like I said, you do seem like you got a lot of other games in the background, so I guess we could see somewhat eye to eye on things. But it's crazy that you ponies really out here damage controlling for full screen advertisement. Oh, Microsoft getting fast! Bro, it ain't even noticeable. And on top of that, you can actually customize your page. No wonder Sony didn't come up with no customizable backgrounds. Because instead of looking at your favorite games, you're looking at Matt Cerny's behind. Y'all getting played, man. Y'all really out here paying for that Concord game, man. Sony's still mad about it. You made them lose $400 million. So now they out here ruining your own gaming experience with full screen advertisements.
Handles game hubs. We all know 4 years on, PS5's UI was designed in such a manner where it's very similar to PlayStation 3's XMB or we've made it simpler to access the most popular activities from game hubs. Game hubs now only display activities that are currently in progress to play.
It's crazy that Sony decided to shut their service for one day just so they can implement this new feature that nobody asked for, man. Ain't nobody care about looking at Matt Cerny when you out here trying to play God of War Ragnarok. Like, you hear these ponies, man? It's so crazy. Oh, it makes it such a great experience, you know? It really makes you more immersed. I mean, it's coming to the point where it says, would you like to purchase the game even though you already bought it? Sony desperate for money.
Specific activities, start the game first and find it server side where they just turn this on, where now it pulls the images from game news as well. And that
y'all ain't even ponies anymore, man. We're going to have to demote you guys to donkeys. Like, I mean, at this point, you guys ain't even worth being a pony, man. You ain't even worth even using in these horse races, man. Y'all are some bona fide donkeys.
That's the problem. It will be highly dependent on the news that was published and if this is really egregious in a full-blown advertisement where it's very annoying, or actually Yu-Gi-Oh! Has cool art for cards, and so this is going to change on a rolling basis. I don't mind this either. Genuinely. I think this makes sense, and contextually, it works for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I've been playing Vampires.
You know, this is crazy, man. You know, as much as you people want to still shill for what Sony's doing, oh, Sony's not dead, Sony's not going under, man. This speaks volumes to everything that's the problem with what's going on with PlayStation, man. They're doing things that normally wouldn't be, you know, the quote-unquote norm for PlayStation. And like I said, Microsoft did introduce it to their platform, but they're like little slideshows. They're like very minuscule. And what's even more funny, you can customize your homepage to the point where you don't even see it. Now with this, you're going to see this, man. Look at it. You see how he's playing the game right here? You're going to be looking at Matt Cerny's behind. Unbelievable. Talking about how the PS5 Pro is so godlike. You know, we just love the PlayStation 5 Pro. You really paying $700 for this just so you can look at Matt Cerny's behind?
So it's indirect, right? Because they just changed what prioritizes, like what takes priority for the background image. So now it's this. This was published back in, what was it? March. Why
is that even there?
It's silly. It looks dumb. So we've got that. Let's see.
This, bro.
We have a different one.
You got Sony out here ruining your gaming experiences before you even decide to even click on the game, man. Now you got to be careful, man. If you go out and run to do something and your girl come over and you're like, yo, what's this? Oh, who's this? What's this? Yeah, you got a whole different person playing in the background of the game that you on. You know what I mean? She gonna be thinking you're talking to somebody else.
And what's another weird one that shows up? Foundationally, the console's UI is very good. It's very simple, very direct, and I like how it puts your software at the forefront. But the second you start prioritizing ads and game news and news that's super old and irrelevant, you've just completely killed the foundation of what makes, I think, this UI very special.
Yeah, he's right.
Rift Apart, celebrating the 20th anniversary armor pack. Oh God. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we can do here. So,
I mean,
so
it could be worse. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not gonna stop my enjoyment from the game, but it just kind of like takes away the fun. You're like, oh man, instead of looking forward to seeing your game's cool background, you're seeing Mark Cerny's behind talk about the PS5 Pro. It's stuff like that, man. And to be honest with you, I kind of don't under. I mean, I understand as to why Sony did this decision because they need to make money. Concord failed, and this is their way of making money. They feel that it's not deterring you away from your gaming experiences, and in some cases it's not. But at the same time, if you go leave to do something, hey, let me go get me some snacks, and you out here looking at Matt Cerny, like it's just yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not really feeling it. We get it. Sony's desperate for money. They need to do stuff like this. And what's even more funny, y'all had to put this full screen. Like y'all really had to do it full screen. Like why did y'all have to do that, Sony? I mean, Microsoft has it like little sliders, and even then, you barely even notice them.
like Helldivers 2, I know. If I can find it. Yeah. So this has standard key art, but in theory, it should change to the art for the card. So to get an activity going in progress, I can start the deck appearing. So activities will be down here.
Wow.
That is that's so bad. Why did
Yeah.
you guys do this?
Why they change it?
Even what we had before, I would say, is arguably much better than advertisements.
Yeah, it was.
Or rather, prioritizing the ads. Again, the ads were
Bro,
always...
Sony got to make money, man. They out here pushing ads because you people ain't buying games, man. Now ads have become Sony's top priority instead of them dropping out new games. I mean, how embarrassing have you PlayStation fanboys become, bro? You have to ask yourself, did you really go out there and pick up the wrong platform? Maybe an Xbox would have been a better pick for you, but I go as far to say this. If you've been playing on PlayStation, go get yourself an Xbox. If you've been playing on Xbox for quite some time, go get yourself a PS5, man. It's about time you people expand your horizons. And I really do feel, because I've been playing Xbox a lot, but I've actually been gaming on PlayStation 5 more. I know, right? Oh, I thought you hate PlayStation. I've been gaming on PS5 more because, it's different. The controller feels, different. And it's just like I said, man, that's what we're doing, And I mean, but I did go on Xbox yesterday because, the Claire, server down. I had to go on Xbox for that day. But I'm just saying, I've been wanting to game on PlayStation 5 more, and I think if you're that gamer that's bored, don't hold yourself down to one platform, man. Try to get as many gaming experiences that you can. If it's PC or if it's owning multiple consoles, like I said, man, enjoy yourself, man. There's no reason to limit yourself. You people are grown individuals. The only time that I knew about Fanboys is when they couldn't afford anything. So, of course, people had to damage control for the N64, even if it had a lack of games, because that's all their mama was ever going to purchase for them. People and kids did not have the comfortability of getting all these consoles at once. Oh, I went to GameCube, original Xbox, and PS2. I mean, you was one of the lucky kids, if I remembered. Okay? I used to know a kid that used to buy games just so he can use them on other people's consoles. I'm like, yo, you don't have a console at your home? No. I just buy the games and then I play them at other people's houses. I swear in my life, that's what he did.
There. They lived under here. And even if you can't, I mean, you can unfollow the game, but that's still not going to not display official game news under Game Hubs. They're always there. They'll always live there. You can't dismiss them per se.
Wow.
But again, I find they're not really a problem when they're tucked all the way down here. If anything, it's sort of like game news really is not... Like, you can run through your software and check each individual game and tile and thumb down here. These are very infrequent. These just don't pop up that often. Studios are not really making use of game news that much.
Yeah, because once the game comes out, there you go. There's nothing really else to talk about.
If anything, they use them less often than cards themselves, Oh, boy.
He's hurt, man. That's all you play. I mean, even... with this, you guys are taking L's, bro. It's like you guys are taking L's everywhere, man. It's like, come on, Sony. When you gonna give the PlayStation community a break, bro? All you're doing is single-handedly hurting these people. And what's even more sad, you shut off a whole day to where these people couldn't even play their games on their PlayStation 5. That's all Sony's doing to y'all. They're hurting you, man, in every single way, man, even when it's minor and petty. Unbelievable, bro. I'm sorry, man, but if y'all don't like this, man, go get yourself an Xbox with the games at, man. Go get yourself a PC or a Nintendo Switch, man. It's clear to me, it's pretty evident that Sony don't care about games anymore. And I'm starting to think that they never did. PS1 and 2 was only successful because of the second and third party. But if a lot of these games was being ported elsewhere, I don't think Sony would have been as successful. You got to think about it, guys. Sony hasn't really been as successful ever since the PS4, because I would say Sony's most successful consoles in order is the PS4, right? PS4, PS1, and 2. Y'all like, what? 2 wasn't the most. 2 was successful, but the PS1, people bought more software. You get what I'm saying? People bought the PS2, but a lot of times they picked it up for just a DVD player. So that's why I'm going to have to go with the PS1. So, well, the PS2 got more hardware. Bro, I can't stand these people, bro. Those people, like, every time you try to bring up a point, they always want to bring up the hardware, but they never talk about the software. Listen to what I'm saying, you big dummy. The PS1 sold well in hardware, and it also sold well in software. Therefore, that is the clear winner. And what's even more funny about the PS2 is only successful because it's jumping off the backs of the PS1. No different than the PS5. It's bandwagoning off the PS4 audience. So what's crazy about this, the PS1 is what birthed all of this. That's why Sony referenced the PlayStation 1, because they knew if it wasn't for that one console, Sony would have been nowhere. That's what you people don't understand. PlayStation 1 birthed the success of PlayStation. Without it, there's no need for it. You're like, oh man, come on, Gamester. I mean, that's like that with everything. I mean, yeah, in some cases. I mean, you had the original Xbox, but the 360 kind of birthed its popularity. I mean, the original Xbox kind of started something. I mean, it is the first console. They're pretty known for doing that. That's like saying, oh, well, the NES didn't do. But still, Nintendo was still successful between the NES and Super Nintendo. You feel what I'm saying? PlayStation 1, original Xbox is what birthed what we have today, right? And the 360 popularized it for Microsoft. Now, PS2, people say they popularized it. Not necessarily, man. I really think the PS2 didn't add no substance besides a DVD player and backwards compatibility. I'm not downing the value of the console. All I'm saying, if the PS1 wasn't so good with all its games, then nobody would have cared about the PS2. You see what I'm trying to say? Nobody looked at these games for their own purposes. The only consoles they did was the PS1 and the PS4. They looked at those consoles and says, I got to get these consoles. PS2 kind of comes more off like, yeah, it's a successful afterthought. Like, I'm trying to explain it the best way possible so y'all don't think I'm just capping. It's a successful afterthought. And that's the problem with that console, the PS2, because the PS2's problems end up leading to the PS3. Because that's when they had to start depending on their own games. And as you guys can see, a lot of those games don't exist anymore, right? So Sony went back to the drawing board with the PS4, And they did it without even backwards compatibility. So you have to put PS4 over the PS1. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of hard. PS1 kind of birthed everything, kind of started everything for Sony, while the PS4 is probably by far Sony's most financial successful console that they've ever made. It is what it is, man. As much as you people are going to sit there, and I guarantee there's going to be some old, retro gamers calling me, oh no, it's the PS1. How dare you put the PS4 over the one when the one started and created all this, but it wasn't as financially successful as the PS4. Now we understand it was a different time frame or whatever the case is. I get that. I understand that. But I feel like the PS2, personally, besides a lot of people that I knew picked it up for a DVD player, bro. I'm being honest with y'all, man. As much as I love the PS2, people played that console and picked it up for all the wrong reasons. But with a PS4, they picked it up for Sony games. They picked it up for their exclusives. PS1, they didn't really do that. PS1 is in the category of the PS2. People picking it up for all the wrong reasons. Ain't nobody picking it up for no PlayStation exclusives. They were picking it up for Metal Gear Solid, Castlevania, all these games that could have been played elsewhere if Sega and Nintendo had their stuff together. See, this is what you people don't understand. Y'all like, oh, snap, GameStop. Now you got me. Now I understand where you're coming from. And that's why I try to break down and try to be as analytic as I can be, because sometimes I get if you say something, people might not catch on to it right away. So you have to break it down in a way where it's like, okay, I understand. The PS4 worked on its own merits. Now, they did focus on a lot of popular franchises, but they put God of War on the map. God of War was not selling the way it is until now. Y'all know that. And neither were all the other games. PlayStation 4 put a lot of those franchises on the map. And you people know that, man. So you gotta put the PS4 over the One. It's very negligible. It really is. But financially, the PS4 is by far Sony's best console. PS1, 2, and 3 were failures to Sony. You're like, what? Yo, you capping, man. They were not. PS1 and 2 are failures. Because PS1 and 2 is the reason as to why Sony is so dependent on third-party deals. That's why they're not working no more. All those Final Fantasy 10s and 7, 8, and 9s that they had with PS1 and 2, guess what? That philosophy don't work anymore. You get what I'm saying? That's why I'm trying to tell you, Sony did not focus on their own games to the point where they're extinct. Oh, thank you for telling me that there's some items on sale through my wish list. They should have focused on their own games, and Sony wouldn't have been in this predicament. Now, they tried to do it with the PS3, but it inevitably failed. Every single new multiplayer project that they had failed, flopped, ceases to exist. You guys already know already, right? Now Sony's got to start from scratch. They're still trying to rely on Square. They're still trying to rely on all these other third parties to make games for them. Essentially, what Sony did, they did the Super Nintendo strategy that Super Nintendo did with the Sega Genesis. Sega Genesis, in my opinion, was better than the Super Nintendo. Sega brought their games. Sega funded their own games. All Nintendo did was illegal contracts. I'm sorry, I'm going to hurt some Nintendo fans. Some illegal contracts to lock these games down to their platform so they could compete with Sega. That is not a real that's not a real gaming company because Nintendo don't own those games. Sony seen that like, okay, let's just make an accessible platform. Let's make it easier for developers to make games for us, and they're going to choose us automatically. And that's what happened. That's what happened. You get what I'm saying? But if you really look at it, name me top 10 PlayStation 1 games owned by Sony, and I know you people can't. Go ahead right now. Name them. Name 10 real, true PlayStation 1 exclusives. So you can't sit there and say that Sony exclusives put the PS1 on the map. But I can say the PS4, it did. PlayStation Marvel Spider-Man, at the time, before it got ported to PC, put the PS4 on the map. I bet you can't name me 10 PS1 godlike titles. Oh, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, Chrono Cross. You mean third-party games made by Square? Is that what you mean? Castlevania, Symphony, bro, that's Konami. Silent Hill. That's Konami, bro. Bushido Blade! That's still Square. Hey guys, Iron Hander! That's still Square. What Sony exclusives can you name that Sony has done themselves that has put them on the map of the level of the PS4? You guys cannot name one because Sony ain't got one. Now, I'll mention some just to help you guys out. Gran Turismo. Yes, Gran Turismo is one of those games. Yes. I can go as far to say that. But see, I got to help you guys out for that. You guys can't even help yourself. But like I said, we still got 9 games to choose from. Now name the other 9. Go ahead, I'm waiting. Blasto, Tumba, that put PS1 on the map. That put PS1 and 2 on the map. Listen to what I'm saying. Actually take the time to listen to what I'm saying. PlayStation has always been garbage. Oh, I'm hurting feelings. I don't care. And I love the PS1 and 2. PlayStation has always been garbage. Sega was right about this company. But Sony, they don't know how to make games. That's what the Sega CEO said. They don't know how to make games. And they still don't know how to make games. They make more movies. PlayStation has always been trash, and the only good games on it were second and third-party studios. Argue that. Let's go. Let's go. I want to see the argument in the comment section. That's why I'm stirring this pot right now. You tell me 10 real PlayStation exclusives for the PS1 and 2 that you picked up, played, and loved. Shadow Rome, God, Capcom, Devil May Cry 1, Devil May Cry 3, the Capcom, Monster Hunter. That's Capcom. Y'all like, wow, you know what? You're right. PlayStation was never good. PlayStation was only good, guys. Why? Because of third-party games. I just broke it down to you, and now Sony's trying to do that again, and it's not working with them on the PS5. And this is why Sony's like thinking, dang, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? Sony decided to take a chance on their own games like they usually do. Failure, flop, like Concord. You see, PlayStation was never good. They were never good. Nintendo and Xbox was better. People picked up an Xbox for their games. Gears of War, Halo, Gears and Forza, Ninja Thought I Told Ya. They picked up the Xbox for those games. So even Microsoft has that value. Nintendo has that. Oh, we pick up Nintendo no matter what it is for Mario and Pokemon. But tell me, what games are y'all doing that for PlayStation? Stop using Rebirth. Stop using Rise of Ronin. Helldivers 2 is not even made by an in-house studio of Sony. Think about what I'm saying. And y'all be like, well, you know what? PlayStation has always been trash, man. All those games that y'all had on the PS2 could have been on the original Xbox. Do y'all know that? And the GameCube? Do y'all know that? So y'all need, man, it's very hurtful. I know it's going to hurt a lot of you PlayStation 1 and 2 fans, but I'm telling you right now, man, name me a list. We'll do this. Name me a list, and I'll pin it. If I see if it's a good one, I'll pin it. Name me the 10 PlayStation 1 exclusives that you picked up and played on the PS1 or 2 or even 3. I think 3 I could do quite easily, but still, nobody else picked them up. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. Like I said, Sony has never been great. On third party is what made Sony great, and that's why Sony's struggling now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. And like I said, take care. Peace out.